Okay, well, let's go ahead and begin the meeting at 5:09. Can I get someone to make a motion to approve and accept the agenda, please?
So moved.
Let's start recording now.
Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you.
I'll second it if you need to.
Yep.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. Okay, Kevin has made the motion to approve the agenda. Robin has seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Jess, can you just use your little hand gesture or say yes? Oh, there she is. Jess, can okay. That's all right. Do you approve the agenda?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Perfect. Let's see. So we are going to move right into our retreat. The first thing we will do is review our global ends policy 1.0 and our other PG policies if you so choose. Those can be found in your packet or on the RNESU website. Here we go. All right, so our global ends for the SU, pretty simplistic. Excuse me. RNESU exists so that the BUU and OVUU school districts have the leadership and infrastructure resources needed to achieve their respective global ends at a cost determined by the districts. And then we have a 1.1. Don't all talk out at once. Anyone have any?
Too much noise.
I know, right? I can't hear myself think.
Fans, I think. Swallowing your...
Can we make the that a little bit bigger? Oh, it looks like it's getting smaller.
The
The document itself.
It's on the computer over there.
Oh, it is. Oh, we'll have to ask. Where'd Colby go? A little. I don't know. I was just looking to see. I couldn't read what the 1.1 was. Oh, but I think it's regarding what we do, which is special service,
Here, just
special
hold on.
education.
I got the actual printout if you want it. You want to use
Oh, no, that's okay.
it? Okay.
Thank you, though. Special education, transportation, food services, informational technology, finance department, superintendent's office, universal pre-K, and then our SU-wide staff, which includes interventionists for academic and social emotional people. So those are all the subcategories that we take care of at the SU end, because those are shared expenses between Barstow and Otter Valley. Does it
Do
make
we need to change, probably not, but do we need to change the language for universal pre-K? Hasn't the state changed the pre-K requirements in the last year? So
hasn't changed it yet. It wants to. It wants universal. It wants 4-year-olds in a full day program, but it has not actually done that yet. Happens next year.
No need to change it then.
So other than that, anything we're missing? Jess, got any ideas? If not, we will move on.
None for me.
Okay, then we are going to move on. Goodness. Ha! Ooh, that's good. All right. So ends are fine. We're not going to make any changes to those. Board work priorities. So We had 3 priorities from last year, the 23-24 year. One was being fiscally responsible and the fact that the ESSER cliff was coming and has come swiftly. What post-pandemic learning, especially as it relates to social, emotional, and academic proficiencies, because we knew that we still have a ways to go there. And then review all policies with an equity lens. So the question is, how did we do on those? And do we want them to become priorities for 24-25, or do we have additional priorities for 24 and 25?
I think we can keep the fiscally responsible part, but maybe just drop the ESSER cliff.
Okay. Are you both in agreement with that?
Yes,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. And then what about post-pandemic learning?
Well, I'd like to hear what the superintendent has to say about 2 and 3 and whether there needs to be a 4 or a 5.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think we could probably drop post-pandemic and come up with a way to speak to the academic and the social emotional proficiencies. So looking at current ones and then thinking about later outcomes. So, so I would say measuring currently and taking that in and kind of determining what we need to do in order to improve them, or I guess I would be sharing that with you, but you would need to hear that. And then I would expect the board to charge me and the district with making sure that we're making progress
In those areas.
in those areas.
Questions or comments for Renee on that? So we're asking the superintendent to make progress on the social emotional and academic proficiencies of our kids for the next year, and to hopefully provide data showing that they are making improvement. Hi, Barbara. This is Barbara Ebling. Renee Sanchez.
Nice to meet you again.
Yes. Currently, we are looking at our policies.
So here's where we are.
Oh,
And
thank you.
we're reflecting on 23-24, the 2023-24 work priorities. We've decided to keep the fiscally responsible one, but remove the ESSER cliff from that. And number 2, it says post-pandemic learning, especially as it relates to social, emotional, and academic proficiencies. We are changing that to asking the superintendent to make sure that we are making progress on social, emotional, and academic proficiencies.
Okay.
Thank you.
It might make more sense to ask the superintendent to gather data on those things and then make progress if you can drop if necessary.
Okay.
Should there be time steps in that, like every 2 months, 1 month, 3 months? I don't know what's realistic.
I think, from my perspective, I think it makes sense that we allow him to gather the data, however long that takes.
Okay.
And then he report out at that, and then once he has additional data, he would.
Build on
would-
that.
Yeah, you would build upon that.
So I would like, coming into this year, we'll have last year's data
Yeah.
that we can share. We'll also have, there will also be a couple of, or 3 times actually, over the course of the year that we could report on our interim data, so our Renaissance Star 360 testing, so that way we can it's going to be what I and Debbie and the teachers and the principals are using to measure progress throughout the year. So we can come and report on that as well.
Gotcha.
And then social emotionally, we'll have some information from Sabres, which is a tool also from Renaissance, where the students will let us know how they're feeling social emotionally and their belonging state within the classroom. The other thing that we are exploring is a culture and climate survey for students, staff and faculty, and families as well.
Gotcha.
And teachers report out in Sabres as well.
Great. Okay, so we're bringing over 2. What about the third one, which is to review all policies with an equity lens?
To me, that's such a generality.
Yeah.
And does that now drop into having our superintendent go under policy 2.9 in equity and apply all that to the lens
Yeah.
because of all this equity, which I find some of the equity statements, the superintendent shall not fail to, are a little broad and like, well, what does that mean? Like, seek out, incorporate student out input in order to develop and maintain a safe. If there's a student, is it one student? Do you take one student's word on what's going on in the classroom and build something around that? Or I understand that it would be more than that, but it seems like I don't know. This seems a little nebulous to me, this whole equity policy that we have in 2.9.
Okay, so you're talking about the policy itself.
Well, I'm talking about where's the lens come from?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Are we to refer this lens back to 2.9, or is it something we just allow Renee in his expertise to decide what is going on there? But that's Renee, and then we get another superintendent. Would that be different?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit of a...
I don't have a problem with getting rid of it, honestly, because I don't know exactly what we would mean by an equity lens.
That's what I'm having a problem with.
Yeah,
that
I
too.
mean, are we talking about equity for students, or are we talking about financial equity? What
It's
kind
all-
of equity?
It's too
So-
general,
All right.
too wide.
What does
spread.
everyone else think?
I think it's inherent in our policy 2.9 that we'd be doing
What?
what that priority is.
Talking to myself, I was looking at the wrong page.
Okay.
So would that mean that because what's happening in my thoughts is not necessarily policies, but evaluating current practices, and then I come back and I describe how we're attempting to build in fairness and equity and inclusivity into those practices, but that might be part of 2.9 and
Right.
other things.
Right.
So-
2.9 is our standard that we would use, that when you bring it to us, we'd say, oh yeah, that's working
Right.
here.
I think this more was when we do our policies, the 3.0s and the 4.0s, that we look at them with an equity
Right.
type lens.
But-
And I'm not sure that that's necessary.
I agree.
Okay. So Jess, unless you disagree, I'm getting rid of number 3.
No, I agree. When we monitor, we consider equity anyway, so it's redundant.
Okay, perfect. Are there any other priorities that we need to be thinking about in the context of Oh, yes, there is. I almost forgot. So, I talked about this a little bit at convocation, or touched on it briefly. I think that it is time for RNESU, with the superintendent, to jump into the political arena and let Montpelier know what we're thinking and how it affects our students when they make decisions. Let's just leave it at that.
If they make
Well, they make them, and then we're not real happy with them. So I would like to make that a priority, is that somehow this board look at what's coming out of Montpelier, and that we're watching the education committees specifically, but there may be other things that come down that we need to put our hat in the ring. Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
How does that manifest? What does that look like in practice?
Well, I'm not really sure yet, because we've never really done that. I'm at least not in my tenure. I think we watch the VSBA weekly updates. I think we also watch. I find Vermont Digger to be helpful in some cases. And,
Wait,
yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
When Jessica and I were at the Chittenden Day, Terry Williams came in, and he's the senator in the Rutland district, but he's also on the Senate Education Committee, and he said he would come and talk. All we have to do is ask him.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I know
we
Terry.
could bring him in periodically or question him and say, hey, what's going on? Because he's overseeing the Education Committee, so that might be helpful.
For the Senate, yeah, and we also have Peter Conlon, who is our representative for Goshen and Leicester, actually, and he's also the
Is he on the?
he's on the
chair.
Senate Ed. He's
Oh.
the chair
He's
of
the
the
chair of
Senate
the-
Ed
of
on
the
the
House.
on the House.
perfect.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Another way
Yes.
it can manifest is maybe monthly writing either a letter to the editor or an op-ed that the Reporter or the Herald can publish that emanates from me and the board, so that way we're all on the same page. Page of the paper, and that way we're letting the community and we're letting Montpelier know what we're thinking about already.
and I think it's also staying in contact with our reps that we know, Stephanie Jerome,
Yeah.
which is going to be leaving in January, but whoever his replacement is, and going from there.
And how it might reflect back to the budgets too, because
Yes.
everybody in the loop on the budget starting now. 'Cause
Yep.
2 weeks before doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
Do we know who's running for Butch's seat? I voted
Alicia
and then
Millay
left.
is running as the Republican, and I do not know if there was a Democrat. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Thank you.
Yep. I had something else I wanted to say about and the other priority we have this year as our board is to hire another superintendent. I feel like we keep doing that over and over again. So that needs to be one of our priorities as well. Anything else? Boy, I think we got a lot there.
That's plenty.
Speaking of the
goodness.
hiring, what's the calendar look like for that? I know we got squeezed last year.
So right now, my feeling is that we start the process in November, and that we would hopefully have somebody in place by February.
Okay.
Does that,
Yeah. It's usually a pretty fast process because you don't want to lose someone. If you find a good one,
Yeah.
you don't want to.
I'm just wondering about the budget and the search happening concurrently. Does it just tax?
I don't think
overtax
it-
the system? No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
The only way it would overtax the system, and we'll have to discuss this.
Basically,
Well,
I'm-
we can talk about this. I have been approached by a couple of VSBA is one, and another company that knows that we need to find one who would like to help us facilitate that process. But I feel like we did a really good job ourselves, and I don't want to spend the $12,000 to $18,000 to do that. So, but we can talk about that as we get closer.
Yeah.
And that seems like an awful lot of money, especially to our taxpayers who are feeling the pinch right now.
I would say collectively, we all have quite a bit of experience, so.
Yep. What is this, our third time in 4 years? Yeah. Okay, so those are our priorities. Finalize the 24-25 work plan. That was in your packet. I think the biggest thing that we need to consider are dates that we may not, that may conflict, but I think we'll just watch those as we go forward. We are planning on meeting on Wednesdays, correct? The third
That
one.
works for me.
Okay, third Wednesday. All right, perfect. All right, well, that essentially was our retreat. I know, right? There's not much to do on this board. Other than and we don't have any presentations like we did the last. At our board retreat, OVUU, we had a presentation. We don't have any presentations for tonight. So, let's see.
So do we need to reconvene in case?
No, actually, I was gonna say, can we take a 5-minute recess? Because I'm going to call Charlene, who will take our minutes for the next part. I don't want to take minutes anymore, unless Barbara does, and I don't think she does. So, can we take a 5-minute recess?
Move for 5-minute recess.
All right, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna call the meeting back to order at whatever time it is, 5:47. We're back in recess.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. So first thing is communications with parents, citizens, and staff. I don't believe there's anybody here to speak to us. So if not, we will move on. Sorry, I lost my agenda. Oh, I got it right here. Thank you.
I'm blowing it up in a second.
All right. Next thing is consent agenda. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'd like to pull the practical skills teacher, please.
So you want to pull job descriptions?
Yeah.
All right. So we're pulling off E. Okay. So first we'll do the other. Anybody want to pull anything else off while we're doing that?
Nope.
Nope. All right, so let's do that first. Consent agenda items A through D. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, all those opposed? Okay, perfect. A through D are all set. Can I have someone make a motion regarding the consent agenda item E, job descriptions? In order to talk about them, we have to have a motion. Want to make the motion? To accept?
Sure, I can do that.
All right. So, and the second for the job descriptions?
I can second it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so you have the floor.
I just, it's unclear to me from the description what grades this teacher's going to be teaching, what years, and what classes. It seems like a description of a bunch of different functions, but I'm not seeing the connect with an academic.
And which job
environment.
description is this one?
Sorry, this is the practical skills teacher.
Practical skills teacher. Okay. Did you want to speak to that, Renee, if you want? We might have to bring it back if
Yeah,
we're
we
not
may,
sure.
yeah, we may have to bring it back.
Okay.
Debbie, do you know anything about this job description?
The fan was running and I heard half of that. Kevin, could you mention it again?
Oh, it's just, I read the description and it's not clear to me what age group the teacher would be teaching, where he or she would be, and what classes they'd be teaching.
Or which?
Practical
Practical
skills?
skills.
I don't have that information.
Okay.
Okay.
It does say middle school and high school on there.
Yeah, it does.
Is that a class? Practical skills? Is that what that?
Yeah, let's see, that's what I'm not clear about.
Okay, well, I think what probably needs to happen at this point, since we don't have the information handy, is to ask that to be brought back to the next meeting.
Sure.
Is that Courtney?
I don't know.
Say the name.
No, it's just the job description.
Just a job description.
So,
I believe I know who it is, and I believe it's a special ed position, but I don't want to say for sure.
well, that's fine. So why don't we just bring it back to the next meeting? Melinda will might have more information about that too. So, so at this time, if you want to,
I'll withdraw the, well,
Motion.
we have to have, no, I can't withdraw because we have to, right, okay, I'll withdraw it, yeah.
we're
we'll
just
hold
gonna bring
Yeah.
it back to the next one. We're
Yeah.
gonna table it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Were there any other job descriptions other than the practical teacher?
There's another one, but I didn't have any,
The other one is the OV School Counseling Office Secretary Registrar. Okay. If nobody had, so for that one
I
anyway,
move we accept the
job description,
job description for the I forget what.
school counseling, office secretary, registrar.
Yes.
Okay. Second for that one?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion regarding that particular position? Okay, hearing none. All of those that approve the job description of the OV School Counseling Office Secretary / Registrar, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right, so we've approved that one, and we'll bring the other one back. Thank you. All right, so that's that one. Moving on, governance process, policy 4.0. Governing style, 4.1.6. The board will monitor and discuss the board's process and performance on a regular basis. Self-monitoring will include comparison of board activity and discipline to policies in the governance process and board management delegation categories. I'm not sure why that's on there. Apparently it's just, because we don't have any board policy monitoring reports to go over tonight. So I think it's just to make sure that we know that we are going to monitor those reports as we go through the year. Fair?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on. All right, purchase award bus bid. So, we need a motion to accept the Anderson Bluebird bus sales bid for 2 buses at a cost of $134,990 each, for a total of $269,996. So at this point, it's just buying the buses, and then we will also have financing come back to us at a later date where we would approve the financing of those 2 buses. These are approved in the budget, and I believe in the supplemental documents you will see information regarding the bus bids.
Okay, I'll make the motion to accept the Anderson Bluebird bus sales bid.
Okay,
Second.
is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Just so that everyone knows, in the supplemental documents, we did have 3 bids, and it's the Anderson one. The Anderson one, even though it's a little bit higher, is the one that central office suggests, probably because that's who we deal with mostly, and we can also get these buses by December. So, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of purchasing 2 buses from Anderson Bluebird Bus Sales for the total amount of $269,996, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Congratulations, everyone, you bought 2 buses. All right, and we are now at the time for the superintendent's informational report.
Okay, so in the documents, there's an informational report, but since this document was written, we've had a couple of things that have happened. And so one is at OV, we've had to close the east wing due to mold. We have Surf Pro, a remediator who's in the building already. They've been working on it for a couple of days. And so, and we have also been in negotiation with Visbit to have them reconsider their initial denial of coverage. And so we're going to keep pushing forward on that one.
Why would there be a denial of coverage?
I think they didn't have the full picture at the beginning, so now we're making sure that they have the full picture. Second thing is we started school today. And so, but going back to last week, we were able to welcome nearly 40 new employees during our new employee orientation. Then we had convocation for all employees on Monday, where I was able to present kind of my vision and who I am to the group. Lori had a presentation as well, once I remembered that she had to speak.
Yeah, after I coughed very, very loudly.
Then we headed out. We had our celebration where people were given their certificated staff member of the year and their support staff member of the year. And then we had lunch together and had ice cream, and folks went about their business, making sure that they were able to take care of business in preparation for today. Where today we were able to start school. It was really awesome. Debbie, Alexander, and I, we started our day very early this morning. We bought the bus drivers donuts and coffee and met out front, or actually out back at 6:15 this morning, rode buses, and then we're able to visit 4 campuses today. And so it was a wonderful day, especially once the weather broke. It was a gorgeous day to be in school. It was a gorgeous day to be visiting schools. So that's it.
Cool. Any questions for Renee?
Did rearranging the 7th and 8th grade classrooms go smoothly?
Absolutely. We were able to, with the students picking up their schedules and their laptops on Monday, they had their schedule so they and their families could go and walk it. And then today, only 7th, 8th, and 9th graders came, so that way they had more time with their advisor and they could walk through the system, so that tomorrow, when everybody is here, they'll have a better idea of what they need to do.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, well, I hate to tell you this, but there's really nothing else on this agenda.
Can we make something up?
Sure, you can't, well, that's kind of where I was headed. If there was anything else we needed to talk about, at this point, there really isn't. We will start talking about budget sooner rather than later, but not today. And again, both boards already know, OV and BUU, that we need to get the community engaged in this soon, and of course that includes RNESU. So,
Gotcha.
okay. All right. So our next meeting is a month from now on a Wednesday at 5 o'clock via Zoom or in person here at Otter Valley. And so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All right. Bye.